So I planned on playing at the Parks Casino for a poker tournament on Friday afternoon, early afternoon, the day after Christmas, which is the 26th. But last minute, I saw some kind of blurb about tournaments being canceled for the holidays. So I called, even though their website said there's the usual tournament scheduled. They told me they weren't running it, so I had to scrap that idea and just stayed in. Had the fire going, had to, just hang out with the wife. I think like we ended up watching like four movies in front of the fireplace. Had a couple of drinks, and it was good. So Saturday, I usually don't like to play on Saturdays, unless it's a big tournament. So Saturday night there was a pretty big bounty poker tournament. Each bounty was worth $50. The buy-in was about $180, somewhere in that range, $200. There was rebuys for the first eight rounds of blinds, and then they do a super add-on. You get 100K more. A starting stack was like I think 60K, and then you get 100K more on the add-on, which makes it, we ended up having five tables, full tables of eight each, and it's a bunch of rebuys. There was a lot of chips in play, but there was almost like 8 million chips in play. Long story short, I ended up we chopped, started at the final table, and just it wouldn't stop. I said, I don't like to chop, but I'm not gonna hold everyone up. There was a lot of bad beats on the final table. At the end of the day, when it was five left, three of the guys took a smaller amount, and I was the chip leader by a good amount. I had almost 3 million in chips. Second guy had maybe 2.5, and the other three had around 500,000 to a million. It wasn't a ton of chips that they had, but we ended up chopping it. We got double, close to double what those guys got. The two of us. I got a little bit more. So it is a win, but it's not. It's not like we never got to heads up and actually finished the tournament. But it was a very, very fun tournament. I got to play my game. I got to play a lot of hands. Ended up with four bounties, and then at the final table we pulled our bounties back. So I ended up cashing out five bounty chips in total, in addition to slightly reduced first place prize. So I got to play a lot of hands. I would say I ran normal, not bad and not good. At the final table, I put, I had pocket kings, and I got a guy to, I raised pre-flop, and on flop I made a small bet. He, kind of like induced him to like shove on me. I snap call him. I think flop was 10-10 queen. He had pocket sevens. I turn over my kings, and he was like, "Oh no!" And then he spikes a seven. So that was the only kind of like unusual sort of bad beat. But and I was good. I played a lot of hands, played all my suited connected cards. At some point, at blind levels 3,000, 6,000. This was after rebuys are over. I was down to like five big blinds, 29K, but I came storming back, flexed my fold equity to get in, and then finally got to double up a couple of times, and then it was off to the races. So I'll go over some of the more interesting hands. So after I was down to 29K, which is about six big blinds, shoved you know ace junk, like ace seven or something, to kind of, I got folds, and then a little bit later, I was one of the blinds. I believe I was the big blind, or the button. I don't remember which one it was, but I acted after the guy who had raised, and he raised to me, and I had pocket deuces. I didn't think he had a lot of chips. I didn't have a lot of chips, so I didn't think you'd fold once he raised if I bet. Um, so I just called, and the flop comes out. So I must have been one of the blinds because the flop comes out, Jack 6-3, and I just open shoved my pocket deuces. He looks at me, shakes his hands, and shakes his head, and just folded. So I was able to slowly chip up. I got to about 80K, 75, 80K. And this hand happened. This time I was on the button. I was dealt ace eight, and it was a limped in pot. It comes to me. Again, I decide I'm just gonna call and see what happens. And one of the big blinds was a pretty tight and good player. Raises it, and so we all end up putting in. I think he made it. I don't remember, around 12K or 10K. It was like a min raise, but he made a raise, and everybody comes to me. I'm like, I'm putting in another half price to the pot. The probably was 50K in there. I had to put in another 5 6K. So we go to a flop, and the flop comes out 10-8 deuce, and everybody checks to me, including the initial raiser. So I have about 70K or so left, 72, 73K. I decide I'm just going to go all in. So I go all in. I put in 70K into a 50K pot. And the initial raiser falls. The other guy who had called folds. And then the super tight player, he's played very few hands, and the one or two times he had to show, like he had top set at queens, and so he calls me, almost a snap call. He just counted out his chips and put them in. I'm like, oh yeah, there's no way. I'm good with my ace eight here. So the other guy falls, so we're heads up. I turn over my ace eight. And surprisingly, he turns over Jack Queen of Spades. He had two overs and a draw. And I was surprised at that call. I expected to, at least see pocket nines there at a minimum, or a 10 with a bad kicker. Board runs out clean for me. And I was able to double up. And with the double up and what was already in the pot, I was able to get up to like 200K, which is a very healthy stack, close to like 30 big blinds, and pretty much on par with everybody else that was playing at the tournament. So eventually we get to the final table, and I was constantly raising, and constantly getting in hands. I wasn't waiting for monsters. So I built up my chip stack. I was close to being, a chip leader, or on par with most of the other players. There were a couple of smaller stacks. I was under the gun, and I had 8-9 of spades. I decide. I raise with this. I've been raising like a little bit over the minimum. Blinds might have been 20,000, 40,000. I'd probably, in that case, I'd make it like 85,000 to go. So the other super aggressive player on the table, the guy who ended up getting lucky. I mean, I should have knocked him out when he had about 400,000K. When I had pocket kings, he shoved the sevens and hits his set on the turn, hit a two outer. With two cards to go. He calls me, and then the big blind calls me. I know the big blind is a very solid player, and so the flop comes out. King, queen, 6, and this is a very good flop for my hand. Not only did I represent big cards? I actually have a flush draw on this, so I lead out a small bet, and the aggressive player, he goes all in. So I'm prepared to call him. At this point, he had close to $1 million. I have maybe 1.2, so it's close. And but the other guy shoves all in too. He had about 700K. I can't think I'm good here. I'm disappointed he took away my play. I can't call here because, if I was drawing to the nut, if I had the ace of spades and suited, I'll go there. I figured he probably has a bigger draw than I do. That's pretty much it. And even though I was getting close to the right odds, but I wasn't gonna get any more chips. They were both all in. So I decided to fold. They turned over their cards. One had King 10, and the other guy had King Queen for the two pair. Board runs out. The very first card is a spade. I would have spiked it. And then even the fourth card is a spade. Neither one of them had a spade. I would have knocked out two guys, and this was 6 players left. It would have gotten down to 4 players, but yeah, what are you gonna do? So this the King Queen doubles up, and he gets healthy, and he's the one that actually ended up finishing second to me in chip stack when we got to the end. So the Borgata Poker Open, the Winter Poker Open, is going to start next weekend. I'm very excited for it. It looks like they have 2 or 3 really good tournaments. The opener is $400 buy-in, but they're guaranteeing $1 million. So, first place would be around 200K or so. So I'm going to fire at that one of the day ones, probably next weekend, maybe Saturday, and then if I have to return to a day 2, it'll be like on a Tuesday. So it'll be a lot of time in between. And after that, they have a couple other ones that, time permitting, and I'm gonna try to get in there and play that. So it was fun, and let's go.
Good luck, Freddie. I don't mind coming in second. This is going to be a big pot.
Big pot. Flags up.
Look at these change. Put me up and everything.
10, 9, 8,
I'm looking for quads too.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, end of round.
What's in each change? You change to 50, so you have 230.
Oh my God, I can't stop.
130? Yeah, you got it.
There's a lot of chips in play. That's the problem. Just to add on, it was like another 100K. Yeah.
Show your hand.
Good luck, Freddie.
Good luck, Freddie.
Get him. Good luck, Freddie.
Is that 677? 6, 7.
6,
Oh,
7.
stop it with that. I try to save my kids from that.
Yeah, I know, right?
Jeez.
And it's-
Do they understand what it means? What?
I know.
It's-
I know
they
this
don't,
is
right?
not supposed to bet, but I gotta bet.
Parents
300.
Play your hand.
All right, that's yours.
Then you know what I say to the kids?
Nice hand with the jacks.
I had 2 overs on you, too.
I know. I saw a flop.
Ace, queen.
I see a flop, and I gotta bet it.
Ace, queen.
Give me the fucking money.